The last night. It was a dark, silent night with an eerie stillness that wrapped around everything. Marwan stood before his grandparents' old house, a crumbling relic that loomed over him like a silent beast. He hadn't set foot here since his grandfather's death, but now he had no choice. He needed to inspect the place before putting it up for sale. With hesitant steps, he pushed open the rusty wooden door, which creaked loudly, slicing through the silence like a scream. The sound echoed throughout the house, as if waking up something dormant within its walls. A chill crept down Marwan's spine as he felt the weight of the darkness pressing in on him, each shadow seeming to follow his every move. He wandered through the dusty rooms, sifting through old furniture and trinkets long forgotten, until he reached a dim, neglected room at the end of the hallway. There, in the shadows, he noticed an old wardrobe leaning awkwardly against the wall. It looked out of place, almost as if it were hiding something. Intrigued, he approached it and began to push it aside. After a struggle, the warped door of the wardrobe fell away, revealing a hidden entrance behind it. Marwan stared at the dark passageway. It led to a small, secret room he had never seen before. A strange chill emanated from inside, biting into his skin, despite it being the height of summer. His heart pounded as he stepped inside. His gaze was drawn immediately to the far wall, where an enormous antique mirror stood. The mirror was clouded with dust, its glass foggy and aged, but in its center was a distinct handprint, small and childlike, pressed against the surface as if someone had desperately tried to escape from within. Uneasy but unable to resist his curiosity, Marwan approached the mirror. He reached out to wipe the dust away from the handprint, hoping to see it more clearly. The instant his fingers touched the cold glass, an icy jolt shot through his hand, numbing his bones. Startled, he looked up, and in the reflection he saw a shadow shift behind him, although he was completely alone. Panic set in as he tried to pull his hand back, but something gripped him from the other side. It was a hand, frigid and unyielding, clutching him tightly, as if intent on dragging him into the mirror. He struggled, his breaths quickening, but the grip tightened, and ghostly whispers began to fill his ears, soft, unintelligible, yet urgent. It was as if the voices were trying to warn him, or lure him deeper. In a desperate burst of strength, Marwan managed to break free, stumbling backward and collapsing onto the floor. He gasped for breath, his heart racing as he looked back at the mirror. But what he saw froze him in place. His reflection had changed. It was still him, but his skin was pale, his eyes hollow, and his lips twisted into a grotesque smile, as if possessed by something otherworldly. Shaken to his core, Marwan scrambled to his feet and fled the room. The further he got from the mirror, the heavier his steps became, as if the shadows of the house were pulling him back. When he finally reached the outside, he heard a faint voice call his name, a voice that sounded just like his grandfather's, but distorted, twisted in a way that sent a chill down his spine. He paused, turning to look back at the house. Through the darkened window, he saw his own face staring back at him, the same pale, twisted face from the mirror. Overcome with fear, he turned and ran, not stopping until he was far from the house. But deep down, he felt something had stayed behind, a part of him that was still trapped inside. Days later, when he returned to finalize the sale of the house, he discovered a chilling truth. The home had a dark history, a curse involving a spirit trapped in the mirror, a soul that had tried to escape long ago but had failed. The spirit had been waiting for someone new, a substitute, someone who could take its place in the endless prison behind the glass. In the mirror, Marwan's face remains trapped forever, staring out in silent agony, waiting for the next victim to find their way into its grasp.